Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 182. Today, we're going to talk about lean facilitation on your project. Don't go away.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to talk about lean facilitation. So this is a topic that will really help us today. I've been through topics like this. I've been through experiences like this, and it was really helpful for me. Some people have allowed lean, well, not allowed, but have been in experiences where lean has been branded badly. Meaning, like, let's take, for instance, I heard the other day that some of the car manufacturing companies in certain parts of the United States will use the term lean for different topics or processes or company initiatives, and really it just means the slash and burn, terminate people, cut expenses, and so people get really down on the topic. Or some facilitator might advocate the use of lean and then go tank the project because they really don't know what they're talking about. Or somebody has a horrible experience with it because it wasn't facilitated right. But I'm talking about the lean that is used by the Japanese, by Paul Akers, by practitioners throughout the United States, where they really do a good job with this on their projects. I'm talking about IPD. I'm talking about some of these landmark projects where they're remarkably run. So when I say lean and lean facilitation, I mean taking our next step with people who are effective and who know what they're doing. So again, I hope you're doing well. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm excited about this because I'm excited to work with people that make progress. And there are so many people out there that are willing to do that. And let me get kicked off. I've got like 3 things here before we get into the principal part of this podcast. Here's some feedback that I received from somebody, I think it was 2 days ago, and I promised to respond, and so here it is. And this is what he said. Implementing lean, scrum, and other concepts related to a smaller general contractor and to smaller project teams would be helpful. We do renovations and ground ups from $100,000 to $3 million. I struggle with getting my super to buy into doing the daily huddle and putting the schedule in writing, or even doing 3-week schedules. I do a lot of this for them or for the job. I find myself asking myself, why can't the supers think like a PM? Whenever there's a problem, their first instinct is to call me to solve the problem. I'm coaching them to take initiative to solve problems themselves. For example, what should we do when we're calling the designers or the city or the owner to work things out? I'm also working on improving my relationship with the PM assistants, the assistant PMs, and delegating work. In my office, everyone is overloaded and I get a lot of pushback that I don't have time to help you. These are the few things off the top of my head that I struggle with that I would like help with. So, a couple of things, and I'm going to give some hard talk right now for the benefit of the group. And I'm not meaning to insult anybody. I'm just saying it like it is. So the $100,000 to $3 million projects are projects that I just want to first say are very receptive, very open, very possible to do with lean and with operational control. And sometimes those projects, and maybe even most of the time, those projects are harder than the big ones, without disrespecting the people that do the big projects, and I'm one of them. Big projects can sometimes just run themselves a little bit because they have the resources, everything's kind of put in like clockwork, and there's just more availability, more support, more people, more backup, right? The $100,000, $3 million projects, even though they're smaller in dollar amount, they're harder actually. And so I just want to say that the qualifications of the people running these projects needs to be just as high as those running the big projects. Maybe not from an organization standpoint, but at least from an experience and tenacity and builder standpoint. And here's the hard talk. If your superintendents don't know how to schedule and they're not scheduling and they're not organized, then they're not superintendents. And that sounds harsh. That sounds mean. I don't mean that. What I mean is, if you're hearing me and you're in this boat, don't be offended at me. Shoot it, give yourself a goal to say, hey, I want to be one. Having the title of a superintendent isn't going to get us where we need to be and isn't the measure of success. There are so many people out there with that title and they don't know what they're doing, because superintendents are organized. They have personal organization systems, and they know how to schedule. They know how to problem solve, and they don't just go out in the field and point fingers and tell people what to do. So when I hear something like, they're always coming in here asking what to do with this, and this, getting help from the PM is not a bad thing, but pushing it all over to the PM without taking care of things on their own to a certain extent is a bad thing, because most of the time people just escape. They're like, hey, I don't want to deal with computers. I'm going to head out to the field and point my finger and create chaos, right? So we need to invite people to get the training that they need. And so in this situation, when we talk about implementing Lean, Scrum, etc., we really, this ties into today's topic, because you need some facilitation. We need to get them training first and foremost on a continual basis until it sticks. This is absolutely needed on a smaller project, especially when it comes to the weekly work planning, the day planning, project coverage and control and balance, and the ability to have operational excellence on the project. And so one of the first things for a team size like this would be the team balance and health training that we have, that I can very much help you with. But there's a system, there's a key sequence that will get your team to where they have the time to go do the learning and to get where they need to be. The buy-in is a tough one, because here's some more hard talk. We need to invite these wonderful people to step up and to expect more and to learn more and to do more when it comes to being effective, or we need to do it without them and kind of force them into these situations, or we need to let them go, because there's no excuse. There's really no excuse for not improving ourselves and running the project in a way where everybody can be balanced. And I'll say that first and foremost, the first problem is that people don't have personal organization systems. And so I'm not trying to sell a course, but literally on the elevateconstructionist.com website, I would put the entire team through the personal organization mastery and say, look, this is a requirement. I want all of us to do this. We are going to be better with our personal organization systems, or have me facilitate it. I can even do it remotely for you. Whatever the case may be, having a to-do list, a personal organization system, and being disciplined with our time is the first step. Then the key is for the team to be disciplined with their time and to be organized and to have coverage so that everybody doesn't have to be there for 12, 14 hours in a day. And then the key is to get the right training and to implement these systems in a collaborative way together. And when you say, you do a lot of this for the job, the key is we need to get everybody doing it for the job. And if somebody, through training, through facilitation, through personal organization, through the interactions of the team, still will not do their job, then they're not a superintendent, and they're not going to be a long-term cultural fit. And when you ask yourself, why can't the supers think like the PM? Well, they need training. The industry doesn't train superintendents. And again, they're not a superintendent yet. And we need to get them there because we love them and care about them. And when they come to you to solve everything, it's because you have had more training and that you are the only one that knows how to do it. And we need to get everybody seeing together, acting together, and knowing these things together. So knowing is probably step number one. It is step number one. And as far as improving your relationship with the assistant PMs and delegating work, that again comes down to capacity, right? It comes down to clarity. So I would ask a couple of things. Does everyone have personal organization? Is there a good organization chart? Does everybody know clearly what they're supposed to be doing? Are there remarkable team meetings? Do we have team coverage on that project site? Do we understand the goals that everybody has to reach their next step in their careers? If those things are in place, and if I can get in front of a group in an effective and a remarkably run team meeting, then I'm going to say anybody that knows what they're doing, I can do anything with that team. But until we have the personal organization, the organization chart, in a distributed leadership type manner, and remarkable team meetings with good coverage and time to go do these things where people are balanced at home, it's not going to go anywhere. And so I hope this has been helpful, because at the end of the day, we have to invite and train our people. We have to do it without them, so that they either have to make a choice to come along with us or go away, or we have to let them go and get people who are interested in taking this next step. I don't fault people right now who are not qualified to be superintendents. I don't fault them for that. I would fault them for not taking their next step and actually learning how to do it, if that makes sense. And so if you need help, let me know. So I hope that feedback has been helpful. I'm going to talk a little bit about what am I excited about in life right now. So what I'm excited about is specifically that people are starting to bring their opportunities, their problems my way, so that I can help answer the questions on what to do and actually help them over the phone or remotely or actually in person. And we're making some remarkable progress and heading in a great direction. One of the things is some of the detractors in people's teams, they seem like impossible cogs in the system, right? But with getting all of the people that are bought in, rallied, and heading in a direction, just every time I see that they head in that direction, or 5% of the time, well, okay, so 95% of the time the previous detractors get bought in and head in a good direction, then 5% self-select themselves to go away. And I'm excited about that, because people, if you have somebody on your team that's taking away from the rest of the group and not participating, that's a cancer, that's bad-mouthing, that's negative, nobody should have to deal with people like that. Let me say that one more time. You shouldn't have to work with people like that in your teams. That needs to be dealt with immediately. We can't leave people in situations like that. They have to weigh in and buy in. They have to get the training, or they need to go away. And that's 100% true, because you spend most of your time with the people on your project sites. And if you're dealing with cancerous, negative, diminishing people, then that's going to be taken home with you, and you're not going to live a remarkable life. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about, is that there are ways to do that, and more people are reaching out every day. Okay. So here's some feedback from some listeners. Hey, Jason, just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of your podcast and listen to it every day at work. I'm currently a third-term carpenter and dream of moving into a superintendent position after obtaining my training and certification. Your work has already affected my thinking, and I will be purchasing your book. Just wanted to say thank you for your efforts in changing the construction industry. So thank you for this feedback. Again, these are payday moments for me. I appreciate you buying the book. And here's one thing for you. The concepts in the book are not duplications of the podcast, meaning somebody was like, well, can't I just get the concepts from the book and the podcast? Well, I intentionally don't duplicate items there. There are there's like 1 or 2 chapters, and there's 98 chapters in the book, but there's 1 or 2 that might deal with being organized and being clean. But for the most part, the stories, the content, the chapters are not duplications. And so you'd really be happy with that. Oh, by the way, we just submitted the audio mastering files to Audible again. If it doesn't work this next time, I'm just going to push this book for free temporarily onto this podcast, all 98 chapters, until Audible gets their act together. It's an absolute nightmare to submit things to the ACX website. So anyway, I'm wondering right now if that's why there's more great books that aren't on audio, because it's so hard to get it through the system. But anyway, I'm going to beat the system if we can't get that going. So more to follow. Still working on the audiobook for Elevating Construction Superintendents and for future books as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. Here's some conflict. You need facilitation. I remember when I first started to learn about lean, it wasn't somebody tossing me a book, although I do like it when people toss me books because I like books, but a facilitator came out. He went and learned a lot of this information from the AGC, actually, and they came out and showed us how to do the last planner system, how to run meetings, how to do the morning huddles, and just got us started. And it was enough to where we got addicted to it and started to problem solve and get our own information, and brought us the book 2 Second Lean to read. And so I remember them coming out to a meeting, explaining the last platter system, explaining how to do the daily huddles, explaining how to use. We were using Excel worksheets for the weekly work plan and for the percent plan complete. I thought that was pretty fun, and facilitated. And so we started those meetings. You really need somebody who's going to kick it off. And so on that job, I took the initiative and kicked it off and started running the meetings and doing these things. And then they would visit the meetings and sit in the back of the room and take notes and say, hey, Jason, this is how you can run the meeting better. And here's how you can do the huddles better. And here and here. And all of these comments were super helpful. I wasn't offended about it at all. They were facilitating success for us. And it really got us up and running quickly. And that was at the Cancer Center. So here's the principle. Establishing a good culture or good processes or good principles or good philosophies on your project is key to the ultimate success. And facilitation makes that easy, especially if you know what you want and you know that there's somebody there that can help you with it. And I just want to say, like, for me, and this isn't bragging, I really get nervous about this because I don't want to come across in a wrong way and be off-putting. But for me, my goal in life is to go do trainings and get information to distill it down for others who are busy, doing the work. I heard one time, sometimes improving on a project site is like trying to change a tire while the vehicle's going 60 miles an hour, right? It's very difficult because we're already busy. So my passion is learning these things and then facilitating it for others. So for me, I've read hundreds of books on lean and integration. I've gone through multiple certification trainings, multiple facilitated events. This, for things like Last Planner, for things like tax planning, having in-person trainings, have given speeches at LCI, attended the Congress, right? Have received a lot of information from very high-profile people in speaking engagements. Have experimented with this on multiple project experiments, multiple lean projects, multiple design build projects, a few light IPD light projects. I've gone and gotten the CM BIM certification, the CM Lean certification, the DBIA certification, gone through professional and personal development training for facilitation, and for lack of a better term, stolen this information and wanted to and have desired to and have been bringing out the best of others through this facilitation. So when we talk about facilitation, I'm talking about people, and I just gave you my experience, who have gone through maybe even thousands of hours of training for this, have decoded it to where it's consumable, and is now attempting to bring it out and bring it forward to the forefront for others. Because a facilitator brings out the best in others. And it's funny, the ENFJ personality type for the Myers-Briggs says, you're bringing out the best of others. So, and that's my personality type. And I've seen a lot of people with those same qualifications and different varieties of the personality type that do well with facilitation or mentoring, that are really well suited for that. Some people are suited to build. Some people are suited for the technical side of things. Some people are suited for emergencies. Some people are suited for the executive level leadership. But the ENFJ type personality is suited for bringing out the best in others and leading people. That's the people personality type. And so we really need connection between people, not just being taught to, not just having a program administered, not just having processes in place. Facilitation is about getting the best out of people. And if you're in a group, the key is to get the talents of everybody in the group to be utilized in full force. In fact, what I tell people is I'm not here to help you. I'm here to challenge you to use the talents that you already have and the knowledge that you already have to solve these problems, to do better, to be better, and to expect more. And so a facilitator brings out the best in others. And usually she or he gets people to perform in meetings as the first step. Once a team can perform well together in meetings, they can do anything. And I'm talking about the team meeting, the leadership meetings, the trade partner weekly tacticals, maybe it's pull planning, wherever it is. If you can get a group of people in standard systems interacting very, very well in meetings, then they can do anything. And so now I'm going to quote some things as a direct citation from Transforming Design and Construction, a framework for change. And on the cover, it says William R. or Bill Seed, executive editor from the Lean Construction Institute. I absolutely love this book. And they talk about facilitation in here as well. And they say, and I'm going to give you a couple of lists, so bear with me here. Facilitators should have strong communication skills, make distributed eye contact with everyone, and use participant names, be familiar with the subject matter or an expert, respect all participants, enable a respectful environment, ask open-ended, impactful questions, this is key, listen thoughtfully and paraphrase comments, encourage full participation from all attendees. This is key because most of the time when somebody's silent, they're dissenting, or they're thinking about it, or they need more time. So we need to get everybody speaking up to make sure everybody's bought in. Encourage questions and conversation, demonstrate an energetic and positive presence, be able to connect with multiple learning styles. This is key. Serve the group's objective rather than his or her own personal objective, staying neutral by focusing on the process and not the content. Have the authority to confront and stop unproductive conversations and behavior, and manage the room by keeping participants focused, on task, and on time, creating a supportive learning climate, facilitating agreement and managing conflict, and using his or her voice and body language effectively by varying pitch, pausing, projecting with confidence, and using the room to adjust distance from participants and facilitating engagement. So most of the time, events, whether it's pool planning or a team meeting or team building or whatever, need to be facilitated. And so the facilitator should consider, in what order should topics be considered? How will participants get to know each other? How will they reach agreement on meeting objectives? How much time will be allocated to each item? Will there be smaller breakout groups? When will we recap and summarize? When will that occur? How will the meeting plus delta be captured? How will the event be closed, right? And the typical format, whether it's a team meeting or an event or a team building event or recovering the project or facilitating the team getting back together because there's interpersonal conflicts, the steps here are to clearly state the purpose of the meeting, the expectations. If possible, align everybody through an agenda. What are we going to do? Review the start of the meeting and signpost where that meeting is headed. Consider asking for topics from the participants to make it more meaningful. Develop a code of conduct as we go. Stay on time. Make sure that you create a safe environment. Manage behavior. Make sure that everyone's respectful. Make sure that everyone has equal status to participate within the meeting. Ensure that people are speaking up. Ensure that when people speak up, others are being listened to. Prevent or stop sidebar conversations. Turn off and mute all cell phones and make sure there's no multitasking, that we're getting right down to business or we're being effective in that meeting. And so those are some key things to consider during facilitation. And so some common techniques are to use icebreakers at the beginning, using the round robin to get everyone participating, asking appropriate, focused questions, directing the group to take 1 or 2 minutes to individually write down ideas and answers and share. Ask follow-up questions that clarify, probe, and redirect. Draw clarifications with phrases like, "Can you say more about that?" Rephrasing a participant's point and asking if that's what they meant. Identifying and verbally summarizing agreements and declaring a lightning round to generate ideas and re-energize the group. The bottom line is, most people, when they hear me talk about this, they think that this is something fluffy, but it's not. There is a way every time to get people to interact in any kind of a facilitated event or meeting. And when people object to this, most of the time they object because they don't want to be brought out of their shells, their silos, their safety zones, and to speak up because they've been hurt in the past, or they want to keep their siloed control and don't want what's going to come with the open engagement and the collaboration of the team. Right. And so we have to consider this and make sure that we're getting past this. So usually a great facilitator can get the people moving together. And here's why it's important. If that team after facilitation can run that last planner meeting, can run that pool plan, can continue to run that team meeting, can run that trade partner weekly tactical, can run those leadership meetings with the executive level team, or can run those huddles or whatever, and has a system for doing it, and people are actually working together, then they can go as far as they need to go with team dynamics in any form of success to accomplish their goals together. That's the reason. And so this can be used, like I said, for lean, for teaming, for last planner, for scheduling, dealing with conflict, reaching a goal, recovering a project. If you feel stuck and you don't feel like you're using the team, or people aren't speaking up, or there's dissension, or we're just not making the progress, or there's low energy, or people just aren't buying in, or there's separate silos, or whatever. And there's just, a bad circumstance. Don't feel like you're stuck. Don't be stuck. Go get the answers. Go get some facilitation. Get somebody to help you, because here's the pattern. What's the goal? What's the problem? Let's go ahead and get people together, working together to solve that problem themselves. And then let's go have higher levels of achievement and success. Because here's what I hate, and here's what happens sometimes. Let's just go send one person, have them play savior with the project, fix the problem, then leave, and then the team still doesn't know how to fix the problem. And so when we talk about facilitation and somebody that can go get this done, I would rather have the person that can make us a little bit uncomfortable and bring out the best in others, go facilitate with the team, have them solve the problems themselves, and then that team always knows how to solve their own problems. And that is the key. How can we, with facilitation, get people and teams to solve their own problems for higher levels of achievement and success? On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.